Hello everyone, I'm Brophy1322 and welcome to the 16th episode of the Choking Hazard podcast with my co-hosts Sugar Free Nos.
Howdy.
And RDT. Is he going to say something this week? Of course.
No, nothing.
Of course. He's going to say. Going to talk about numerous things this week relating to GTA and Smuggler's Run. This is the first podcast after Smuggler's Run has come out, so we can give our thoughts on that, lay into it a little bit. But we'll start with a story about a Delta Airlines plane pilot and what he did with Hurricane Irma. But before we go into that, I just want to say, we're thinking of everybody who's being affected by the hurricanes, and we hope you all stay safe and wish you all well.
Yeah, for sure. From one trailer dweller to another, get out, evacuate, run away.
Yeah,
your trailer will not survive.
If they tell you to get out, because you don't want to play around with those things.
Yeah.
No.
Tell us, RDT, what you were just saying to us before the podcast started.
Oh yeah, I was saying how I can really relate to the people in Houston and now what's going on and about to go on in Florida during Hurricane Sandy back in 2012. The place that I'm sitting right now, my head I'd be underwater. We got hit hard back then, and apparently there was an 8.1 earthquake in Mexico.
There was.
So.
That's brand new as well. 8.1 earthquake, just it's crazy.
But yeah, we threw out a ton of stuff. It was a tough one back then, but yeah, so
nightmare, absolute nightmare. So yeah, make sure you all stay safe, and take precautions. But it seems like this Delta Airlines pilot decided that was not going to happen, and
he was like, nah.
He was like, nah, it's fine. I got this. So, a Delta Airlines plane was basically wanting to go to Puerto Rico and come back out of Puerto Rico back to the USA. And at the same time as he was on his way there was plenty of other planes flying to there, and because of Hurricane Irma, which was pretty much over Puerto Rico at this point, they all turned back and it was like, nah, screw that, we're not doing that. But one plane decided to carry on, and this was all actually live tweeted, I believe. There was one guy who was following the tracking of the planes, and he overlaid the hurricane at the same time. And you could see the hurricane moving over to the left with the plane moving towards it to the right. And it's like, what are they thinking? But he landed in Puerto Rico. They got the next flight done and switched around and changed over from touching down to flying back up again in 40 minutes, I think it was. And he used one of the veins of the hurricane where there was no... or little wind or hurricaneiness to fly back out of it again. There you go.
That's his plane.
Yeah.
And that's where the hurricane.
And he used that little sliver of non-hurricaneiness to fly out.
That's a technical term, by the way.
That is a technical term.
Let's pretend the floor is death.
I can't believe the 170 people that were on that plane got out of the hurricane's path, got out of Puerto Rico before it hit.
Yeah. 370 people, did you say?
170.
170 people, plus his 400-ton nuts that were just riding in the cockpit.
Yeah, he didn't even have a co-pilot, just the other seat.
Pun intended.
Yeah. Threading the needle indeed. So good job to him, the pilot, and everybody else who, obviously all the ground staff had to get the plane turned around and everything in time, and the meteorologists making it possible and all this kind of stuff. That's crazy. Stories like that. I wouldn't want to be a passenger on that plane.
And I know you don't read out sub messages, but Cup of Morning Joe subscribed with 4 months, and he said his power is probably going to be out with Irma. So, stay safe.
I figured I'd resub. Keep doing this if you do. Well, thank you, Cup of Morning Joe. Yeah, stay safe. Good. Be okay. We'll see you on the other side of it, I'm sure, for the next podcast, which won't be happening next. Let's get the bad news. Look, this is putting it into perspective, okay? This is putting it into perspective. We have all these atrocities going on. Hurricane Irma, which is natural disasters, Mexico earthquakes. This is not a big deal, okay?
And now this bombshell.
But the podcast is going to start moving to once every 2 weeks. Don't cover your face. This is not a big deal. See, you can't make it into more than what it is.
Why? It's okay. I promised I wouldn't cry.
Oh, there's good news as well about the podcast, right?
Yeah, there's good news. Don't worry, I'll get there. I just want people to, we'll bring it back. We'll bring it back.
You've got to bring that good news back quick, so we don't just shove everyone out the door.
Yeah, everybody's left now. It seems like the chat are all pretty much against us looking at this.
It's
I'm sorry.
It really is the end of days.
I tried my best to do everything on a weekly schedule, and it's just too much. I said I would give it the good old try, and I tried, but I think for the good of not only myself but the channel and the podcast as well, I think every 2 weeks makes more sense. It was too much stuff for people to actually watch and listen to. Needs to be, but the we didn't ask for this in the survey. Look, this is actually coming from the survey results as well. Putting it out there. One of the top responses was that I don't have time to watch everything, and the podcast was not watched because people don't have the time to watch it as much. So, gotta prioritize and
nonsense.
But
yeah, so it needs to be an all podcast channel. I think that's what they're saying. 3 times a week seems more likely that people will watch it.
Yeah. So we're saying that I get rid of all the GTA stuff.
Yeah. You can fit that into a regular segment in the podcast.
Okay. Every week on the podcast, I'll just give another testing result.
Yeah. Drip feed results. Rockstar loves doing it.
So we will get onto that. But yeah, with the podcast moving to 2 weeks, we are going to try to make them a little bit longer. So each podcast is going to be, so far it's been between the 1:15 to 1:45 range, 1 hour 15 to 1 hour 45 minutes. We're going to try and move that up to around sort of the 2 hour area. So it could be a little bit more, less than 2 hours, around 2 hours. So more of the podcast per episode, just less episodes being thrown at you. So I think that makes sense. That's a good compromise. I think it's a better way to go about it in the future as well. I think it just makes more sense. Who needs GTA at this point? Now it's just Flying Bike Simulator.
Whatever.
I guess that's true.
To be fair.
But this week we don't have a guest on. We're going to be talking about the new GTA update, Smuggler's Run, and give our thoughts about it. We've got some good chokes for the podcast choke of the week as well. So, where should we start? Where should we start?
Hold on. Wait 1 second.
Okay.
In the past 6 days to a week, Joe Rogan has done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 2-hour plus podcasts. You're telling me you can't do one a week? Jeez. This guy claims he's a hard worker. This guy's doing so much more.
Does Joe Rogan do GTA testing videos and GTA videos in general? And
he flies
streams?
around the country doing comedy and commentating on UFC fights.
I've got nothing to say. I guess I'm just not as good as him.
I guess not.
I can't.
Have some alpha brain. That's what he sells.
We're
Okay,
not
fine.
sponsored by them. We're not sponsored by them.
Oh yeah, no, don't buy
Podcast is
alpha
not
brain.
affiliated with the Joe Rogan Experience.
It's not.
Any similarities in
with Onnit.
story-backed characters or topics is purely coincidental. So.
Yeah. So.
Bruffy is
on.
that's a perfect thing in the chat that Raving just said. Bruffy is second rate. I guess I just gotta accept it. That's how it is.
Second for life.
So how do we want to start with Smuggler's Run?
Let's just pull down our pants and shit all over it. How about that? That's what I want to do.
Hey Nas, did you play the adversary mode?
You mean that Battlegrounds ripoff? No, I didn't play it.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
But do you remember what I said many podcasts ago? How GTA always brings in adversary modes and game modes that are relating to other popular games. Here's another example. We had the tiny races when Micro Machines was coming out, and so many other variations and circumstances of that. PUBG, big game, and now the GTA's got its own version. They do that
and
quite a lot.
And of course, it's inferior in every way, but
well, I haven't actually played it, so.
Well, from what I've heard, everyone is on the map, like on the radar, so it just completely defeats the purpose of the entire game mode.
What is that? That's the only reason to have a game mode like that. If you turn the radar off. Oh my god!
I don't know. Yeah.
All right, so that's got the adversary mod. We all know adversary mods are mostly trash anyway, so that wasn't going to be an issue. Has anybody done the missions, the supply missions?
Yeah,
I've done a few.
I haven't, but I feel like I should.
I'd recommend it, but like, I mean, the same kind of, you get a plane and you go and you get a crate and then you come back.
Yeah,
like
they're kind of fun.
I did one where you had to take out a bunch of lasers with some plane. I can't remember which one it is.
The Molotov, I think it was.
Yeah. There's a lot of dog fighting to be had, which is fun to a certain point. Like when you spend 20 minutes killing AI lasers, it gets boring in my opinion. So, because that mission took me like 20 minutes.
I know.
And this is all still in a public session, of course, right?
Yes, and this is all still in a public session where you could be taken out by so many different things.
There's been such a missed opportunity with gun running, with Smugglers Run in the pursuit, and also import export as well. Like in the pursuit for copy and paste easy content, that they've just copied and pasted these supply run missions, go pick something up, and it's all in a public session. If we'd had those missions as standalone things using the new vehicles, but in more heist oriented styles, like it's an actual mission that you load up in and you do of your own accord, I feel like that's especially with all these vehicles, these incredibly interesting vehicles that we've had, to actually utilize them.
I'll give them that. The vehicles are very interesting.
I've said this a few times, just mini heists for the vehicles. Like they don't have to be on the depth of and so with setups and then a full mission or anything, but mini missions for the vehicles that aren't in a public session or anything like that, it would make so much more sense. But obviously that requires, like the special vehicle missions, yes, basically. But there's so many good vehicles that we've had that just the copy and paste content seems to have been chosen instead because it's probably easy. So yeah, I mean, we'll go on to the vehicles, but I think I've heard that there are some good missions, but there are also some bad missions, and then the payout of said missions is ludicrously
that's
low.
Always like the worst that I did. I've only done a couple, but there was one where like you had to like it was some loose backstory about like impressing some like oil tycoon's daughter or something. Like anyway,
that one.
Anyway, it was like the stunts. You had to fly under the bridges and do the knife flights, basically.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't know. Considering I did all the knife flights and under the bridge challenges in single player, I found it incredibly boring myself. So, but that's just me.
Teach his own, I guess. Whatever, man. You're entitled to your opinion and all that.
Yeah, I think that the base is there for some good missions, and it's just a shame that they're put into this copy paste public session stuff without any real thought gone into them. Like there's it's more that there's more potential there with these missions that are just, it's just a shame that isn't utilized.
The one where you have to blow up the, what do you call them, the tugboat, and the hunter mission where you have to blow all the jammers, those are the worst.
Yeah, I agree to that. I did the hunter one too. I mean, it was interesting that you got to use the hunter.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, there are some missions where you can use vehicles that aren't in the game yet, right?
The last DLC was the same way. Like it had the Night Shark, and the technical custom was in a couple of the supply missions too, as well as the Insurgent custom. So they did that last time too.
It's we won't get on. We won't talk about the drip feeding just yet, but
we'll get on to that.
Oh boy. What about the actual vehicles then?
That's how like hamsters. They're like it's a drip feeding thing.
The drip feeding. For anybody confused about what just happened, who's listening to this podcast, go watch it on the YouTube version. What about the vehicles? What do you make of the actual vehicles?
The only aircraft I'm interested in is the Hunter myself. I'll probably buy that, if anything, because it'll look good on the hangar floor, and then bring in all of my other military vehicles I already have from Pegasus, and then just call it a day. I'm not really interested in any of the other ones. The Tula, I believe, is that the VTOL thing?
Yeah.
That thing looks interesting, but I don't know. As for aircraft, those are my thoughts. The Retinue is fantastic. I love the Retinue so much. It just a great car, excellent car all around.
Yeah. Someone Benimi said the Alpha Z1. That's a cool looking one. I'm shaking the goddamn camera.
What is?
The
Is that
Montauk's
one of the
cool.
planes?
It's it's one of the propeller planes. What's the other one? The Rogue. That's a cool plane.
Yeah, the propeller planes are all cool because we don't have any propeller planes that are worth anything. So to have some that are is really nice. Excuse me, sorry. I'm recovering. I'm recovering from a cold. You'll have to give me a break. But I'm still disappointed there's not a Duster with guns though. I wish they would have done that.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That would have been epic. But
To North by Northwest.
I like the Alpha Z one. I've got to say.
All right, cool. You don't have anything else to say about that?
I like the liveries on it more so than anything else. We've got the Ron livery on the Alpha and the Retinue. I like that, but I think the planes themselves are interesting, but it's just what can you do with them?
Yeah, exactly.
And the map feels too small as well. They're so expensive. Yeah. The map is I mean, there's only really 2 places you can land properly, 2 airfields, and you can fly from one end of the map to the other in like a minute. And then these planes that are full of a public section that's full of people in armored vehicles and
forget the homing missile launch. You remember when the homing missile was like your biggest problem?
Yeah,
those were the days, huh?
Yeah.
I long for the days where I could get shot down by a homing missile.
Yeah.
Speaking of homing missiles, did you guys see in the patch notes that the flare from the flare gun now attracts homing missiles?
Oh, it does.
Missiles.
Well, that's how they've used it with the countermeasures, isn't it? Flares come out and the homing missiles go towards those flares. I've got to say those are really good.
Yeah, it's good that we have countermeasures finally.
Yeah, finally after all this time. I think I like all of the vehicles because they're all interesting, they're all unique, and obviously we've got plenty of drip feed vehicles still to come. The Bombushka looks ridiculous, and there's plenty of other vehicles and that are going to be interesting. But it's just what can you do with them? If someone's in a Hydra, then what's the point in having a Tula if he's just going to go around and grief the lobby?
Exactly.
As cool as the Molotov is to fly around, it's slow and it's going to get shut down easily anyway. Just things like that. And the glider, that's a lot of fun to be off the radar, but you can't go very fast in it, really, can you? There's always...
Wait, are you off the radar in the glider?
You can get I don't know, it costs a lot to get a
if you're not accelerating, you're off the radar, and then there's a propeller that keeps you constantly off the radar.
No, there's a propeller that keeps you off the radar if you're not accelerating. So you don't get that as standard with the glider. You have to pay an extra, $200,000 or something to get that propeller.
Oh, okay.
But then you're off the radar when you're just gliding.
Are there any spoilers for the planes? Can you add a spoiler?
No.
For down.
You can add engine and handling differences though, so you can go faster. But
yeah, I haven't bought any of the new planes, so I don't know.
There's no spare tires that go on the back and increase your flying traction.
I think it's a shame that we've got such good vehicles now that are all so overpriced, and the payoff for buying them, it doesn't give you anything for buying. Like you don't get the value out of them. They're a cool commodity to have, but what's the point? And it was the same with gun running. Gun running was exactly the same. It was.
They're all the same. That's the entire point.
Yeah, that is true. They're all the same. Yeah, the special vehicles now, the Runa 2000, stuff like that, like the Wastelander, like, you know, all these vehicles that were like, oh my god, these are amazing. The first time we'd ever seen anything special like this, and nobody even thinks of them anymore.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, the Rocket Voltic, so useless. Yeah, Rocket Voltic, useless.
Yeah, you're like, wow, that was awesome.
Runa 2000, what a joke.
Yeah, everybody buys it, spends the money, and then forgets about it.
Yeah, I've still got mine.
And then you can't sell it. That's it. You can't sell it to get something else.
So much money on those.
Although you can sell the new planes, that's good, and you can sell the stuff from gun running. So that's something different.
Yeah, but only if you buy that thing in the MOC, like the vehicle modification.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Which I don't have, and I want to sell everything. I'm so sick of this game. It's so terrible. Yeah.
Wow.
They just. I think those are the strongest words about GTA. IDT is normally the voice of reason, or the other side of the coin. With me and Nosser are always very against everything that they do. But those are the strongest words we've had from you about GTA so far.
Yeah.
Is it wearing you out now? Are you getting sick of it?
It really is. Like, if the payouts were better for the hangar, it might be worth it. If it was similar to what gun running was for payments, it might have been worth it. But it's not, Rockstar. It's not. I hate. Come on.
Wow.
I think the actual in these content updates, the items that we get from these content updates are always fantastic. You know, the hangar especially is something that people have wanted for so long.
It's cool stuff.
So cool.
I wish if only you could store big vehicles in it. That's my only gripe. If you could throw like the APC and all this other huge stuff, if you could throw that in there.
And other Pegasus vehicles like monster trucks and things like that. Yeah, that would be better. But still, for what it is, store all your planes, all your helicopters, whether it's the new ones or even the old. People have wanted to store Pegasus vehicles for so long. You know, all the actual content and the planes themselves, all these vehicles from gun running, the actual stuff that you get, the bunkers, the MOC, it's all great stuff. It's really, really good. But it's the way that it's implemented is what turns me off of it all the time. It's always so expensive. There's always grindy paywalls to get through. It's not. People said, it's not a paywall, and I guess you don't actually have to pay, but it feels like a paywall.
Your time.
Yeah, you're paying your time. Yeah,
time is money. All right.
Yeah, and when it gets to the point where you would be better off working a job 9 to 5 and then buying a shark card instead of actually playing the game because you would earn more money that way. And when you're looking at a game like that of how much money you're making, and that's when it becomes less of a game to me, honestly. And I think that is where the game is starting to lose me a lot, because imagine the prices were back how they were when the game was first released. Shark cards stayed how they are, but sports cars were a couple of $100,000. The top end supercars were $1 million max, 1.2, something like that.
Yeah.
These special vehicles, maximum 2 million. Planes, maximum 2-3 million. And it's scaled down like that. These buildings and the properties were a couple of 100,000, maximum $1 million for something like that. You could get so much more for your money. Your time would be better spent with all the money that you earn in the game. But it's inflated so much to the point where it's just why like when I don't know.
Isn't the Z-Type like 950?
Yeah, $950,000.
Yeah. The Adder is $1 million, right? I think that was the most expensive when it first came out. And I don't at this point I can't go against it when people mod or glitch. Like, I understand it. I don't endorse it, but I also don't endorse buying shark cards. So
I fully endorse cheating. Cheat at every opportunity in this game.
I definitely endorse glitching, because glitching is something that the game, like, that's their fault. If they wanna create a game that is buggy that allows you to glitch something, then fair enough. Modding is a little bit on the next level where you're actually doing something external.
I fully endorse it. Just don't blow people up in the public session. You'll be fine. Give yourself some money. You'll be fine. I fully endorse it. You get the NOS stamp of approval. Cheat at every opportunity.
But for me, go on.
Yeah, I think the worst part about it, more than anything else, is that from the beginning, they were actively trying to make you earn less money.
Yeah.
Because what was it? Duct something? There was some Gerald mission that
Violent Duct.
Violent Duct.
Yeah, of course. That was the first one where you could.
People were like, "Yo, play that on repeat. You'll make $100,000 in 7 hours."
I remember doing that. I did that.
And that was pretty good. And then they're like, nerf it, get people out of there.
Yeah.
And then they moved to
Rooftop Rumble. Yeah.
That's how I got to level 120 within a week of online coming out. I don't know if I've
Rooftop Rumble. The other one, I can't even remember these anymore because I haven't played them in a while. The one where you were sniping people down, you had the cargo bomb to create out.
Oh, I remember that one. I can't remember what it was called.
But you could have these in a playlist and just have like 16 of them and play them back to back. And they were like, no more doing that.
Coveted was the name of that mission.
Coveted, yeah. We don't want you to play this game anymore. Buy this game. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Rockstar. Where were your friends? Where your fans? Come on, man.
Yeah, it is getting. I think, and the thing is, like, Muggy Handbags just said there. To him, the source supply missions are fun. He enjoys doing the missions and things like that. He enjoys the grind, and that's fine because there are people who enjoy grindy games. Obviously, there's people who play RPGs. There's all sorts of different games that appeal to different types of people.
Yeah, there's people right now. There's someone sitting right now at their computer making iron daggers in Skyrim to get their blacksmithing skill up, and they are loving every minute of it.
And that's
Minecraft
totally fine.
Is basically an entire grind.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with enjoying the grind of a game, but not everybody enjoys the grind of a game. And GTA Online was never a grind. GTA itself has never been a grind.
You take everything.
The problem is that you have to grind in GTA to get stuff. There's no way you can just play races or play death matches or play something that you enjoy playing. Like we obviously race a lot more than do anything else. But we can't earn the money racing than what you can if you were to grind these supply missions.
Even if you were at peak performance, only doing 8-minute races, which makes the payout max as possible, 30 players, and winning every one, it still would not be enough.
Yeah. So like it's not okay to have one part of the game be a grind and then make people have to use that grind to afford stuff. It should all level it should all increase on the same level. And obviously the grindy stuff you have to actually pay to get access to. You can't just grind missions anymore. You have to first build up a lot of money to be able to buy a bunker or buy an office and a warehouse so that you can then make even more money. It's just a shame. It's just a shame the way that the game has gone, and the increase in prices and the inflation, the time it takes to afford things. I fully understand why people glitch and mod the game.
Yeah, well, the biggest problem with go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I'm just going to say that I don't necessarily endorse it, but I understand it. I absolutely understand it because it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And this is completely the opposite to where that I used to be back in the early stages of the game. The prices to me were all reasonable, and people who were glitching and modding and stuff like that.
The rate of money was reasonable too.
Yeah, the rate of money was reasonable, and then they started they started nerfing things and increasing the cost of things, and then now it's at the point where it's got completely the opposite. And I get it, I understand it, because it's gotten ridiculous, and it just feels like they're milking every last bit out of it that they can.
Yeah. And I think, personally, the worst part of all of it is the malicious drip feeding of content. Because...
Which gets worse and worse and worse.
They overcharge you, and they underpay you, and then they bring out a vehicle next week that's better than the one that you just blew your entire load on.
Yeah.
Like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, they absolutely know it. And anybody who doesn't think that they're doing this for money
let's
is
dispel this
naive.
Notion that Rockstar doesn't know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, and it's gotten. You can see how it's gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. From the first time that they tested this was on what was it called? The
Ill-gotten gains.
Ill-gotten gains. Thank you. And months later they bring out these. They're all very expensive stuff, and it obviously worked because people bought shark cards and bought the stuff, and they saw, holy cow, we've been doing this wrong all along. We didn't want to release everything all at once at reasonable prices. We need to make everything extremely expensive and release it. And it's gotten worse and worse. Every single DLC, there's been more vehicles drip-fed, more time between them being drip-fed, and more increased prices. So that you spend all your money on the first few vehicles, then you don't have any money for the last few vehicles, so you resort to buying a shark card for it because you really want it. And if you'd known about it initially, you probably wouldn't have bought that shark card, so it earned them more money. Which is why I like the fact that people, as soon as the game comes out, as soon as the DLC comes out, everybody knows what the vehicles are going to be. But there's a lot of
for an average player.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was going to say. The average player, a lot of people don't know all these about these other vehicles. They're not actively watching YouTube videos about these future vehicles. They just buy what they see and what they like, and then they're met with something that they wanted instead. And the drip feeding, I can't believe how bad it is now. This has been. I mean, gun running was bad, but this is
terrible.
This has taken it to an even greater level.
They drip fed up until the next DLC. There was a car.
Baller move.
DLC.
First time we'd had that. The Ardent was released, and then the week later we had the Smugglers Run DLC.
That was so
it's going to be the same for
savage.
this one as well. We're going to have Smugglers Run up until somewhere in November, probably, and then it's going to be Christmas themed DLC.
God,
it's going to be exactly the same.
They give zero shit.
To quote our
Voice of God's
friend-
going to quote something for us.
To quote our friend Hitman, they're drip feeding their drip feeds.
Yeah, because they didn't release
Nothing
anything the
was
first
so
week
good.
after the DLC as well, and some of the vehicles that they've got to come, the Bombushka, which is a huge thing. I was imagining when I found out that was sort of like the MOC of the skies. I was thinking, oh well, that's definitely going to be coming the day of release because that's a huge thing for the it's an MOC that's going to be on the day. But no, that's going to be drip fed as well. The laser is going to be purchasable. It's already in the game, and it's going to cost $6.5 million.
$6.5. The Hydra is faster and is a VTOL, and it's only what, $2 million or something? Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's $3 million, I think. The Hydra.
And I can waltz out of my hangar and go down there and grab one for free. It's stupid.
It's unbelievable.
Woo!
6.5 million without upgrades. Yeah, but there aren't any upgrades for the laser. There's no.
They need to.
That's the thing. People seem to think that the laser that we're going to be getting is going to be a better upgradable version of the laser, but it's not. It's standard laser that you just going. So instead of allowing you to take a laser from the military base and drive it into the hangar that's on the military base, you actually have to now pay 6.5 million to get it into your hangar. Like, it's just shit like this. Oh my god,
so savage.
It's insane. And the laser is like, the laser's only superior in like turning speed by a small margin compared to the Hydra, and that's like only relevant in high-level dogfighting, which no one does in GTA anyway. Yeah. So, like, I mean, the laser by all accounts is just inferior.
It's unbelievable how, and the Bombushka I think is going to be somewhere around 5 million as well. The Bombushka only MOC like thing is that it has remote gunners. That's it. All right, okay. So the remote gunners, but still, I mean that's still a pretty. It's a pretty hefty vehicle. It looks on the size of, well, Titan cargo plane-ish size.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah, somewhere in between. So but that's going to be a lot. And a lot of the vehicles that we've still got to come are going to be a lot of. They're going to be pricey, but. The thing that got me about this one when I realised it was that we had 19 new vehicles. Add the laser into that makes 20 vehicles that they're releasing for people to buy. And 9 of them were released on the day of release, and 11 were kept back for drip feeding. The fact, I think that's the first time this has happened, that the majority of vehicles in the DLC are actually kept back for drip feeding.
Oh, sir, please, do
3 months worth of content that just is going to be drip fed 1 week after another.
It's so wild.
And the balls to do it with like the majority of vehicles. It's not that they release 12 vehicles and keep 11 back. No, they release 9 vehicles and keep the majority of vehicles back. It's just
they do it and they're just like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Oh, sorry, we don't know what we're doing. We're not doing. We're just doing this to keep the game alive. We're not doing this with really expensive vehicles to make sure that people buy shark cards because they don't know that they're coming. No, Rockstar don't know what they're doing at all. Rockstar are doing it for the good of the game.
What do you think the most ridiculous?
You can't complain. You can't complain. It's free. It's free. You can't complain about free content. All right?
Free content, my ass.
I would love it in Rockstar if you're watching this, and I know you won't. I would love if they came out with like a police and criminals DLC and just had a $10 million police car just to see if people bought it, because that would be so good.
I'd buy that. I mean, you give me the police sticker for our 5M server, I'd buy that.
That's oh my God. Well, you know what the next game's going to be, don't you? You know what the next thing's going to be that is inevitably going to happen?
Boats.
Boats. Yeah, it's going to be cut and paste of copy and paste of
and there's nothing even
Smuggler's
to do
Run.
in the water.
No. The map isn't capable of having it. But there's going to be various different harbors or some
from making yachts though.
Some way of doing it. Oh, yeah, they'll probably make it the aircraft carrier. They'll bring that into it or something. And people would lose their minds that you can have a base on an aircraft carrier or something, and you can store all your Pegasus boats and all these new boats that they'll introduce that'll cost $5 million each.
Don't give them these ideas, which they probably
that's what they're gonna do next. I guarantee it. Mark my words. That's gonna be the next thing. But it's all based
in predictions and it's boats. Then it's guaranteed full-size battleships adversary mode.
Yeah, probably.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But that'll be released.
Tugs and muskets.
That'll be released when Rare's new game comes out. What's that called? The pirate game that they're bringing out. That'll be released then as well.
That one
that was in the E3. That was like an 80-hour trailer.
Yeah, God. Yeah. That was long. Yeah, it was long. But like, that'll be.
We get it, pirates, cool.
But there's just that'll be next, and every single idea that they have comes from community-related stuff. I feel like the idea of having hangars is something that we've wanted for a long time. The Cunning Stunts update, going back to then, all the racing stuff and props and things like that, and racing cars, that was coming from the community. We've had various racing-related improvements, the bunkers and all this kind of stuff, the more weaponized vehicles. It all comes from, especially bikers as well. There's a huge petition for a biker DLC.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems like all of this comes from what the community have wanted, and it takes such a long lead time to do these things that suggestions that were 2-3 years ago.
Yes. So how long ago was the Tuners and Outlaws trailer?
Yeah, that was last year or something, wasn't it?
Are we rolling around to
I think that would have to be another year down the line or something.
Another year? Okay.
Because the Cunning Stunts DLC was about 2 years after that, that big push that we did with the racing DLC idea that I made that Rockstar forum post and everybody voted it up. It became the top post on the Rockstar Social Club thing, support area. And then it was about 2 years, and a lot of the stuff from that idea were in Cunning Stunts, but in Rockstar's own way of doing it. Obviously, they weren't going to make a hardcore racing DLC, but they put in the ability for us to do hardcore races whilst also appeasing with the new stunt races, which have been a really good thing. So, racing DLC, everybody likes stunt races now. That was our idea.
I love stunt races. Yeah, they're great.
Damn.
I mean, the vast majority of the GTA population.
Yeah, the casuals do. Yeah. Casuals love stunt races.
Oh my God.
But my point is that all of the DLCs seem to come from a good place, and the actual content that is in the DLCs is excellent. It's what we've wanted. Some really great vehicles, really great buildings, really great stuff. But then there's probably a separate decision on a separate amount of people who decide how much things are going to cost, how they can make as much money out of these. You've got these programmers who make these incredible things, and then they put them to the next stage where you've got a group of people who decide how they can make as much money out of these incredible things that these programmers have created out of love and suggestions from the community. And that's where it all falls down, because it gets ridiculous at that point. And that's the point at which we don't like it. We like all the stuff, but I would happily. I'm going to put this out there. I've bought quite a few shark cards in the past, obviously for the testing that I do.
What?
Yeah, I know. I have to for the testing. I did go to Rockstar at one point and ask them, is there any help you can give me, with the testing that I do? And they're like, nope, sorry, we can't give shark cards out.
No,
sorry. So I've bought a fair few shark cards, and not an exorbitant amount, but more than the average person probably. And I would have continued to buy shark cards if the prices had remained reasonable, but it got to the point where I just couldn't possibly support that anymore. So for someone like me, they've lost shark card income because it's gotten too far the other way, and maybe they're just doing that. Maybe they're just pushing the boundaries as much as possible. But as we saw in one of the podcasts a few weeks ago, the gun running update gave GTA their highest income since they released. So if Smuggler's Run is going to be the same as that, then it's working, obviously, and people are buying the shark cards, and they're making tons of money from it. $1 billion just off GTA Online since it's been in existence. So
here's the formula for Rockstar. It's just announce the DLC, create a dope ass trailer just to get people hyped up, release it, drip feed, and change everything. Oh, you want downforce? Nah, take away downforce next week. Oh, you want downforce? Yeah, you can have downforce. Keep selling stuff. Keep going. Up the price. Make this car better than that car. Come on, stir it up real good. Pour it down their throat. Force feed. That is the formula.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm hoping so much that people. I don't know whether people don't want to see it or just aren't seeing it. I think a lot of us here watching the podcast right now, and certainly us three, and those who are more invested into the game, and especially since seeing from where it's come to where it is now, we can see what they've done and what they've been doing. But
wake up, sheeple! Wake up! To get your money.
Obama's putting chemicals in the water to make the friggin' frogs gay.
Oh, we both went the same direction. That's great.
I just hope that it bites them in the ass.
Card sale.
I hope everybody just thinks this is ridiculous and they go too far, and then it just tails off and they get nothing from it. And they could have had this amazing thing for a long time, but then it just all dies away. It probably won't. It's not going to, but it's a shame. It's a shame as a fan, though. From we've played all the GTAs and seen where it's been, and we've really enjoyed the game for so much time, and then to see where it is now with what they do and just exploiting it for as much as money as they can. So
much potential.
It's just such a shame. It is such a shame, and it's hard to support giving them any more money, to be honest.
But they have a remastered LA Noire coming out, so.
Oh wow! Rockstar's most mediocre game that wasn't even made by them is getting remastered. Wow. Oh, I'm excited.
What about table tennis? What about Rockstar table tennis?
Table tennis is probably
that was a fine game. Fine game.
I never played table. LA Noire. I've never played LA Noire.
Wait, what system was table tennis on? Was that on 360?
Yeah.
360.
Jesus.
360.
I wonder if I could find a copy of that.
It's so good, honestly.
You want to play it on stream?
Really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, I have a capture card now.
With a wheel?
With the wheel, yeah. Yes, this right here is the table tennis machine right here.
On Nasus streams Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Thursday, Tuesday, something like that.
Every day was wrong. Every single day was wrong.
Yeah.
The milking started with the release of the PC version at full price for an almost 2-year game. I mean, that's true. But I mean, they did the same with the PS4 and Xbox One versions, full price releases. L.A. Noire, speaking of full price releases for a remaster, how old is that game now? But they're releasing it for, I think, $30, and people were like, was it $30
Wait, really?
or £30? Or was it $40? I think it was £30, $40. No, the Switch version is $10 more. I think the Switch version is $40. And the console version is $30, and people were like, that's a good price.
Domohiro
That's a good
Gato.
price,
No,
$30.
it's not a good
Sucker.
price.
And I was thinking,
I bought it on PC, played it at 4K for $5.
That's what I was thinking. Like, that is not a good price for a remastered game. It's a game that's already existed for years. You can buy the original.
New to me.
Anyway, I've never played L.A. Noire, but
Me neither.
I've heard it's
okay.
good. I've heard it's £34.99, £34.99. That's even more than I was expecting. Is it $40? And then 50. Oh my god!
How much was the BioShock remaster? Like all three games.
If you owned BioShock on PC, the original versions, the remaster was free.
Yeah, because they knew that the remaster was not better than the original version.
Well, yeah, the remaster was pretty terrible. With
the
bugs,
remaster was a garbage port and with some questionable artistic changes of BioShock. So
it's €40. Jesus, it's unbelievable. But then again, as we're looking to it, Wondersniff said, "Why just make a new game already?" This is true. Rockstar.
Why would you?
Rockstar used to make a game every year, and then they got to GTA 5, and from 2013 they've not made anything new. Red Dead is still, next year now put off. I still think that was Shark Card, GTA Online, money related. I honestly do. I think that they delayed that because GTA Online was doing so well, and they were legitimately good to do that because gun running's been so good. Sorry, carry on.
If I was like building chairs, and I was building a chair every year, a new version of a chair, then all of a sudden I got to one, and people were like, "This is a pretty good chair," and I was like, "I'll add arms to it but you can buy them." They're like, "Yeah, sure, I'll buy it." It's like, "Oh, I'll put a headrest on it." "Yeah, I'll put a headrest on it." And then they're like, "Yeah, I'll pay tons of money for that." I'd be like, "Okay," and I'll put extended feet on it too. And they're like, "Yes!" I would never build another chair. I would just make that chair the greatest chair ever.
You continually milk that chair for all it's worth with all the additions.
You're in the chair business now. Yeah. That's the only thing you do.
And just L.A. Noire Remaster is not a new game, so we're still into another year with no new game from Rockstar. And GTA Online has completely changed what Rockstar has always been, and what they've done with games. It's a shame how that's turned out. But L.A. Noire, I might give it a look. I might just buy the original version.
I'd pick up the original version, and you could like downscale it from 4K. For its time, it's a pretty game, and the facial recognition expression software they used, like the motion capture stuff, is still really impressive to this day. It's the game's more of a technical masterpiece than a writing or gameplay one. The shooting is not remarkable in any way. Some of the writing decisions are questionable to say the least, but it's still a good game, and I'd recommend it because I played it about a year ago. So.
One of my favorite videos on YouTube is the title is like L.A. Noire makes you read subtle facial expressions. And it's this old man. "They were just taking tires. That's all I saw."
Subtle facial expressions.
Yeah.
It's like the greatest video ever.
I think the most interesting thing about it is the VR thing that they have. We have a Vive here, so I might try to pick up the VR case files.
I really don't understand the point of VR in that game. I could not imagine a scenario in which VR
I don't know anything about the game, really, so I don't know whether it's... But I like the idea of detective
so you
stuff.
just be standing there, and you look down at your notepad, and then you look at him. That's the only thing you do.
Right, okay.
The most boring cop simulator of all time.
It doesn't make any sense to me why VR is needed. That game. I'm so tired of VR getting shoehorned into everything. It's so annoying.
All right, okay.
Oh my God.
We've shit on Rockstar enough. Well, no, we haven't, because it requires more to.
I got a full belly, all for Rockstar.
For
There
RDT
was
to
one
be.
other thing. Sorry.
I was going to say for RDT to be so against this now. He's finally turned a corner, and I think he is. Now we all know it's gotten bad now. If RDT's the
And Nas got me jacked up too. Nas, we've been playing off each other's energy, and I'm telling you, it's hot right now. It's hot.
Yeah.
Carry on.
There was one other thing that was slightly frustrating about the DLC, and that is my beloved Retinue. My beloved, beautiful Retinue has a problem, and I would like to see if there's going
Don't
to be.
tell me.
If
I
there's
don't
going
want
to
to
be
hear
a,
it.
if there's going to be a
no
fact
problem. Don't tell
finding
me.
on it.
La 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 la
What's
la
the
la,
problem?
Everybody knows. Everybody
I
knows the retinue. The retinue has some interesting handling characteristics, shall we say?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it feels like a Karuma.
If you have a look at the front of the retinue, you'll notice that the front right tire is half of the width of the front left tire.
Oh,
What? What?
Why did you tell me?
Well,
That's ruined the Retinue for Nos.
No. Oh, are you serious?
Oh my
God!
god!
I am serious. Yeah. The test. I've done very brief testing with it, and the handling characteristic where it kicks out the back. It only seems to do that if you turn right.
Oh my god!
I didn't notice that. Why did you tell me? Why?
Yeah.
Oh
It is a fantastic car, and you know what? Right. This one for me, because I love the handling of the Retinue, and until I found that out, I wasn't bothered about it. This is one that I would be happy to let Rockstar slide on. I don't mind about it, because
You're gonna be sliding if that's true.
It's fun.
I mean, we didn't actually speak about the upcoming vehicles, because we've talked about the upcoming planes, but we're gonna have the I mean, the Retinue is a very popular car, just off the face of it. People like. I mean, I like the car. It's really good.
And the customization options are fantastic.
Yeah, customization's great as well. We got the Rapid GT Classic, which looks to be just as good
from what I've seen. Excellent car.
Yeah, really, really good, and the customization on it looks fantastic. It's a mix of an Aston and a Mustang and
no, it's
Jensen,
not a Mustang.
Jensen Interceptor. All right, okay.
No,
people are getting annoyed in the comments. But we've got so many different vehicles that all come into one vehicle, and then everybody argues about what a vehicle is. There's no winner in this. There's 3 or 4 different vehicles that go into every vehicle.
There's a winner, and the winner is the not Mustang crowd.
Okay. Basically, it's primarily an Aston Martin V8 with a bit of V8 Vantage and a bit of Jensen Interceptor as well. No Mustang, even though everybody thinks it's a Mustang. But I don't. The reason I don't understand how people can not get that it's not a Mustang is that it's Juborchi. It's not a Vapid. It's not Ford. It's a Juborchi. It's an Aston.
Well, people are dumb. And people don't there are people that don't know the V8 Vantage thing.
Dude, Nas is on another level today.
I know.
Look, I'm just triggered. All right, I'm just triggered in general. But
Nas
people don't even know that the car exists. There's
a lot of people don't know that the V8. And people said that someone corrected me when I said the V8 in the video, saying that it's not a V8, it's a V8 Vantage. But the V8 Vantage is just a more souped up version of the V8. So it is a V8 with just a few hints of Vantage.
What?
The V8, it's an Aston Martin V8 with Jensen Interceptor bits and some Vantage bits on it. I just...
Oh my god.
Anyway, it's a James Bond car, the Aston Martin V8. It's another James Bond car following the Ardent. We're not going to be able to have James Bond races in Sports Classic races with the Ardent and the JB700 and the V8, the Rapid GT Classic, because we can't use the Ardent in races. But it's another James Bond car from one of Timothy Dalton's Living Daylights, I think it was. So, I like Timothy. I like the Living Daylights. I like
People
Timothy
do
Dalton.
like Timothy Dalton, but
So for those wondering about the retinue, I've just posted a picture in.
No, I don't want to see
you
it.
guys.
I'm closing my eyes. I'm
gonna have a look at
I've
it.
just posted it in chat as well.
Oh yeah, I see. Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna show
It's
this
like it's got the wrong
people.
It's got the wrong tire on it.
Oh my god, that is ridiculous. This one is definitely thinner than this one. Oh my days.
Oh, thanks,
That's terrifying. That's terrifying. Oh my god, that was. Can we get a not safe for work tag on that picture, please? Oh my god.
All right, so to get back to the topic at hand, the new cars, we've got the Rapid GT Classic, which looks to be a fantastic, great car. Looking forward to that one. Definitely going to buy it, modify it, probably race it as well. Then we've also got the Cyclone, which going to be pretty useless in most races, but a very, very interesting car.
Yeah, very interesting.
Again, another interesting one. Yeah,
very interesting. Yeah,
incredible acceleration. Certainly going to be the best car to use in a drag race, unless you're against an Oppressor, a Rocket Voltic, or the other car that we're going to talk about.
Can the Banshee with a mid-drive do it?
I don't think so. I think the Cyclone would destroy it, to be honest. As long as it's not, a mile, a mile and a half, 2 miles, or something like that. I think over a mile or something like that.
That's actually an airport drag test I want to see.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's true.
Mid-drive.
Get Mr. Boss on for that episode.
He can drive the Cyclone because God knows he can't mid-drive.
Yeah, I think that the Cyclone is an interesting one, just for the sheer acceleration that it has. And then we come to the Vigilante.
It's stupid. Car's stupid. It's not Saints Row. It's not Batman, the animated series.
I love it.
It's stupid.
So much.
This game has become a joke, and this vehicle is stupid. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
It
does seem to divide opinion, the Vigilante. Because there were so many people in the it obviously works. This is why Rockstar put it in, because there were so many people in the comments saying definitely buying that car. It's a Batmobile, gonna buy it, don't matter what the cost is, gonna have to buy a shark card for it. So that is evidence right there that it works. That is evidence that what Rockstar do works, because they're putting in a car that you would never imagine would have been in the game at the start of GTA Online. They're gonna make it extremely expensive, and people are gonna buy it. And it works, but I agree.
It makes sense.
It doesn't make sense in GTA.
No.
You're the complete
Oppressor
opposite.
is stupid too, by the way. The Oppressor is stupid. The Voltic.
The Rocket Voltic, the Oppressor, the weaponized vehicles
is stupid. It's all dumb.
Some of the weaponized vehicles I can get behind, like the half track and things like that, if they use in specific situations. They are real vehicles, but things like the Runa 2000 and the Rocket Voltic, these ridiculous flying bike, for God's sake, a Batmobile. Just
Hell yeah.
it is more like Saints Row than it is GTA. It's ridiculous, but like it's what I was saying in a podcast a few weeks ago when it was like comparing GTA Online to the 3D era, where we started off with GTA 3, which was relatively chilled out and not too much to it. Then GTA Online started to get more to it, and it became more like Vice City with some cool stuff and nice cars and more features. And now we're getting it more closer to the San Andreas levels, where you have jetpacks and hydras and...
No, we've not got a jetpack yet. Yeah,
sorry.
We've got a Batmobile and a rocket bike.
Why?
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 We've got all these vehicles and I just triggered so many people. We still don't have a jetpack. 15 million jetpack, that's what's going to happen. but it seems...
But why? Why don't we have a jetpack?
Yeah, there's no reason not to have the jetpack now. At the start, someone left a comment on the video, like at the start of GTA, the guns on the JB 700 were removed because they didn't want it to be ridiculous. And then when we had the Duke of Death, the Duke of Death wasn't made available because it was armored.
Puny little guns.
The puny little guns on the JB 700 aren't allowed. But now we have an incredibly powerful Batmobile that's the quickest vehicle around a track. It's got a rocket on the back of it. It can ruin an insurgent in a head-on collision, and it's got rockets that shoot out of it. But we can't have the guns on the JB 700.
And your buddy's got a flying motorcycle that shoots rockets.
Oh my god! It is more like Saints Row now than GTA. It's not GTA anymore. It doesn't feel like GTA anymore. And we. Oh my god. Oh. Having said that, I do have hopes for the creator update. That's the one last thing that can give us some hope. With the transform races. And hopefully there's some good things that come out of that allow us to do things that we want to do and ignore all the other nonsense. Proper multi-class racing.
It'll be stock vehicles for 1 GT, but it'll still be multi-class racing.
Dude.
Because when you switch into another vehicle, it's a stock version of that vehicle.
Not unless you have it. If you have it, it's fully upgraded.
No way.
Yeah.
You serious?
Yeah.
So like if I'm in a I don't know, a JB700 and I go into a marker that transforms me into a Dominator, I'll be in my Dominator?
Yeah.
What?
It's only vehicles that you don't have.
I did not know this, alright?
Yeah. So proper multi-class races we can do.
I'm behind it now.
Yeah,
best update ever happened.
Yeah.
It's the best update.
That's I'm hopeful.
Can we delete lamp poles though? Like,
well, that's what I'm hoping for. If they release not just transform races, but a full-on creator update that allows us to puts in all the dev features that we've had recently, with the creator, the deleting lampposts and things like that. I want a creator update that gives us all this stuff in addition to the transform races, and then I'll just forget about all the nonsense of the other stuff and the flying bikes and stuff, and we'll be all right.
Hey, did you make a video about it, by the way? About the transform, and I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I did, yeah. Yeah, there's a video. There's early footage already in the video.
Nas, watch Bruffy's videos, and you'll know these.
I played one, but the only transform markers I went into were things like phantoms, so...
Yeah, they do give you if you have your own vehicle. So, all right, I think we've ranted enough. Let's get on to the regular segments. What should we call this? Okay. What should we call this episode? Because the chat can give us some ideas, because there's been so much ranting going on that we need something that's going to pull people in and see the light of what's going on and enjoy and embrace the ranting with us.
Violent, gone sexual, 2017.
We're probably going to get a lot of bad comments on the YouTube video version of this, to be honest. People are disagreeing and agreeing, and we'll send it the rantcast. That's actually pretty good. Rant apocalypse. We need to send this to Rockstar and just say your game is turning shit. Can you sort it out, please?
Oh, it's now. Right, it's just now turning, huh? We've reached the point where we're turning. I see.
Okay. Rockstar rant. Must watch. You won't believe this.
Watch till end.
Nos gets ultra triggered. Alex Jones cameo or something like that.
Sugar-free rage.
Oh
man, this was a good one. I enjoyed the rant, actually. It was good to let it all out, frankly.
Yeah, it was good to let it all out. Yeah.
All right. Regular segments. If you want to ask us a question, you can get on Discord. If you're watching this live, get in the Discord phone bank, and MB Hammer will be there to ask your question, to take your questions, and then you come into our chat and you ask them to us. Can be about anything. Can be out to any one of us, all of us, anything that you want. Put a question in, but has to be in the phone bank. I'm not accepting mail questions.
No, the mailbox is closed. We have closed our PO box.
Yeah.
All you mutes out there.
Yeah, you gotta get in here and ask the questions yourself.
If you can't do that, then tell someone else your question with a mic, and they can come in and ask it.
But let's do the Choking Hazard podcast Choke of the Week.
Choke of the Week. Let's take it right on. Choke of the Week.
I like it.
That's our jingle.
So you guys are going to be shown on the screen again. I'm going to start the first one at 1 minute 11 seconds. And I'm going to start it.
I'm not ready. No, boy.
We're in a nice purple comet.
Yeah, we're on a highway, if I remember correctly.
Nice colour scheme on that comet, actually.
It's pretty sexual. I think you might be watching it. That's the Kerboos little scumbag.
Oh, that's focusing on the... No! That's not going well.
That is a joke right there.
He was too busy checking his weapons on that one.
right in there.
You could say
Rip.
that's a sign.
He could go to Pillbox Hill, Mission Row, or Strawberry. He chose neither. He
chose to go into the sign saying where he could go. All right, let's skip on to the next one. Skipping now.
Alright, this is GTA Fail by Alex Deal over on YouTube.
Oh, who was the first one?
That was Sloth, I believe.
Okay.
Or Sloth.
Yeah, so we got
something like that.
this little
Sloth.
stunt race here. Point to point. Hate this one.
XA21.
Really
Solid car for this class.
Yeah, got the slipstream on the Zentorno.
Give me the slip.
Dude, he got that.
Perfectly timed as well, right before the line.
But
Into the
Kaboom.
oh.
Yeah, the GTA landing physics strike again. And
Ooh.
second for life it is.
Casino
What a
Royale.
shame. This next clip is I Want to Die by
Do you?
Escus.
S.
Currently in first in the MCC secondary championship with 3 laps
So
left.
this is like a proper race.
Proper
This is a
racing
race that
event, proper
matters.
championship. Secondary
First place.
championship for the MCC, first place in the 9F. Good race then
What
to be
system
in
is
first place.
this?
This is PC.
Oh yeah, it's got an
Can't
FPS
see the
counter. I was
F-
wondering. Yeah, he
It's
must be on
60.
some low settings.
Xbox One now.
Oh no!
Oh,
no!
Oh no!
Oh.
Oh no!
Nice
Respawn.
BS 50-50 there.
Respawn. Oh, second. No.
Last
3
time
laps to go. And down he goes into second. Oh, that's a nightmare.
That's
I
a
thought
rough
my
and choke
MCC
right
race
there.
was bad. Oh,
I thought my
God.
MCC race was bad.
Yeah, the MCC last week wasn't good.
I was so gonna come back and win that. It was ridiculous. Well, not win it. I was gonna beat Equation because Equation's terrible. Listen.
So, everyone who's here watching live, you can make your voices heard, vote for your favourite choke, and your winner will become the choke of the week for this week. So there were some very good chokes in the 3 that we saw, but there were also some very good chokes in all of the other submissions this week. So if anybody who didn't get shown, feel free
Resubmit,
to
guys.
feel free to
Resubmit.
submit it again. We're some great chokes that we're only choosing 3 and then there'll only be 1 winner. But yeah, if your choke hasn't been shown, definitely submit. But get your vote in on the straw poll. I think I have my winner.
I definitely have mine.
I don't know though. I'm now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh, don't think. That's dangerous. You don't want to do that.
See, I'm torn.
Thinking is what Take-Two
Very
executives
good
do
jokes.
to get more money out of GTA. So I wouldn't do that. A lot of thought goes into that.
As always, we're not going to give our thoughts until the votes are in, so we're not going to influence them. Yeah, shame you disconnected from the MCC, RDT.
That
You
was
disconnected from 5th place as well. Again.
I know, and all of my pits were done.
Oh, really? So you
Yeah,
were having a
that
good
was my
race.
last pit. I was
Okay.
1 pit ahead of Copyright, like a few laps ahead of him. I was so upset. I was on another internet. God. And the entire time I was like, I really hope I DC from this race because I hate driving this stupid car. And then I was like, this is amazing. I'm going to do well. And then all of a sudden,
That's harsh. That's harsh. Yeah, mine didn't go well either. Starting from pole position, should have won that race. It's it's hard to take. Let's try. Come on, let's bounce back. You weren't here as well, Nos, for this round.
Yeah, I wasn't here. I was
Round
I was
5.
busy
Let's
getting
all
sick,
bounce
so-
back. GT2. We can do it.
I guess.
Yeah, sports will be in the alpha.
Yeah,
So,
Alpha.
Alpha's
I
I don't
like
know
Okay.
what track we're on, but we're in an alpha.
that. Whatever, some hill track.
Yeah.
Do we have a winner yet?
We do.
Ooh.
All right. Okay. You guys say what your favorite was.
The Comet.
Comet.
Yeah. Okay, that was easy. I was gonna say the Comet, but I think, given the nature of the choke, and with it being such a high level event, and to be in the lead, and it was a proper choke, I would actually have to go for Escus's. That was my favorite.
That was a good one.
That was
a
a
good
proper choke. But I imagine that the Comet's gonna win. Come on, MB Hammer, tell us the results.
So, third place with 10% of the votes, we've got the Runway Issues by Alex Deal. In second place, with 29% of the votes, we've got the MCEC Issues by Esquiz. And in first place, Comet. Magnificent Aerials by Slaughter.
Yes.
It was the greatest.
Could not have gone any worse. Congratulations.
There were some magnificent aerials, yeah. The thing is, he wasn't in the lead, just putting it out there. But it was still an impressive chalk, and well done for being absolutely terrible at the game. Good job.
Good job.
Good job.
That was a new level of terrible, actually.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
If we ever do
it's not a new level. We've had it on the podcast before.
Yeah, but not
First
race
week
situation.
choke, we had a very similar choke.
Yeah. All right. So, should we go into RDT's Apple Juice Minute?
All right.
Yes.
Hold on a second. Prepare for this.
Oh, preparation.
Got some set work going on here.
Yeah, that work. Beer drinkers have rated our Sculpin IPA 97 out of 100. We asked our brewers how we can get that last 3 points. No, shut up. I get that ad every time I watch a YouTube video, and it's the most annoying thing of all time. Is your beer great? Yes, it's amazing. Is it one of the best IPAs I've ever had? Hell yeah. Is it worth $16 per six pack? Hell no. Are you kidding me? You're gonna charge me $16, support Trump, and advertise on YouTube when I'm trying to watch Bruffy? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. Now, if I didn't have to get a second mortgage on my house and sell my car to get a sip of this, maybe I would get it more often. You know, I don't know. It's amazing. It's a fantastic beer, but I can get clam chowder sauce for half the price, less than half the price. Ballast Point, Sculpin IPA. If you're like a Prince or Bill Gates, suck one down.
That seemed to come on the back of the Rockstar rant. It was just that was too much. That was too much. Like the price and the ad and then just everything. It was one step too far for that beer. Great stuff, but
Price.
That was the perfect beer for this podcast with this rant about Rockstar. It was great content, great beer, but the price is just too much.
It's really good beer though.
And the fact that they advertise, I guess that's how they get that extra few percent on the approval is lower the price.
I guess. I don't know.
GGRDT on another great Apple Juice Minute.
Thank you.
Bruffy's Racing Corner. Anybody watch any racing?
Hell yeah.
I heard Ricardo did well. Good job, Ricardo. I don't know what you did or how you did it or where you even finished, but good job.
He had a good race. See, if you're a Ricardo fan, if you'd watched the race, you would have seen. Why don't you even just watch the highlights? They put up highlights now on YouTube. Like 5 minutes, and it shows the highlights of the entire race in 60 FPS.
All right, give me 5 minutes. Jeez.
Yeah, I'll have to
not during the podcast.
Watch the highlights.
I always forget that they do that. I'll have to try to remember from now on.
Well,
yeah, Hamilton beat Schumacher's pole.
He did.
Record.
He did. That's interesting.
I'm shocked.
And then he won the race.
Yeah, it was a pretty boring race at the front, to be honest. It was the Mercedes just bossed it. It's not really interesting. Singapore should be more interesting.
I like fun. Mr. Beatree's comment.
Aussie,
oi, oi, oi. I like it. Pretty good comment there from Mr. Beatree.
Discuss the F1 Halo. I don't know whether it's worth ranting about the Halo in this episode. It might get too much. Do you guys know about the Halo? Like
Master Chief, stuff like that?
No. Basically they're introducing head protection to the cars in Formula 1. I'm gonna try and quickly get up an image of it so that you guys can see what it's gonna look like on the cars. In fact, let's just go for this. You can see it here. So basically, it's going to be head protection, and it's just going to be these big bars across the cockpit that a lot of people are not happy about.
Yeah, that looks annoying to drive with.
Yeah,
to be honest,
there's a lot of people in general don't think that this is a good move for Formula One, but for safety measures. And there's been quite a few incidents over the last few years where wheels and tires have hit people on the head and died. The most recent one was last year in IndyCar. Justin Wilson got hit on the head by a piece of debris, and he died from it. And this would have protected that and stopped that from happening. But there's a lot of people who think it just looks terrible and it's a bad move.
Find a good picture.
It stops things being an open cockpit formula and all this stuff. So it's controversial. Well, yeah, there is that as well, but the drivers have said it's not too bad.
For keeping their head protected, and then they crash into a goddamn wall because they can't see the road.
I can show it on the screen.
If it's safer, it's safer. You know.
Yeah, that's so. It's controversial. There's various different. There's two main schools of thought about it. Is one, it's safer. It's going to be, in the interest of safety, we got to do everything that we can. And then there's the other school of thought that it's like Formula One's not Formula One anymore. It's changing everything, and then it's not.
We need to go back anymore. To like 1950s Formula One.
Yeah, when half the drivers were lucky to get through a season and stuff like that.
yeah.
See, I understand. I fully support keeping people safe, and that is a
that's a bold stance to take there, RDT.
Yeah, controversial statement. I don't want people to die. But at the same time, it's like they realize what they're getting into, right?
Yeah.
You're taking your life into your own hands every time you get into that car anyway.
Yeah.
It's like if they were like, hey, MMA, you gotta wear helmets now, because if you don't, you can get concussed. It's like it kind of changes things, and it's not the same sport. But hell, I don't really care. I don't watch F1 anyway, so.
To be honest, I don't know what the future is going to be. There was an aero screen, which some of the shots on there were on the link that I sent was shown, and the aero screen looks significantly better. It's like a half canopy jet cockpit sort of thing. But that didn't really make it through, and they decided on the Halo instead. So it's it's going to be interesting to see what 2018 is like for Formula One. And
quite a lot of the. Sorry, when you go.
Go on.
I believe quite a lot of the drivers complained of motion sickness with the aero screen because it's such a curved canopy.
They did. It was more from the vibrations, and there was a few people thinking that the vibrations could have been caused because it wasn't affixed properly how it should be, obviously with it being a temporary thing that they were just testing. So there's still potential work to be done on a screen like that, but yeah, it seems... Yeah, and John Todd wants to create the leader of the championship having a yellow halo. Like they have the yellow jersey in the Tour de France and stuff like that. It's I don't know. Go watch Rallycross and IMSA, the IMSA race series as well. Go watch those two racing series. They're better than Formula One. And the MCC. And the MCC.
Yeah, the MCC as well.
Yeah.
Which I cover live every Sunday. Race day, PS4. Over on twitch.tv/sugarfree-us.
Apart from the last one, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't here, sorry.
Crank it up!
Yeah, crank it up. Exclusive crank it up footage over on twitch.tv.
It's almost the same as Choking Podcast Choke of the Week.
All right, I think that's it. Let's go to the questions. Let's go to the call-in. Let's see what people have got to say.
Cool. So our first question is from Mr. C. Wilson.
Hello, caller on the Choking Hazard podcast, the show where our primary care physician is Dr. Henry Heimlich. What's your question for? What's your question?
The question is for everyone, and it's what would Rockstar have to do for you to completely stop playing GTA? Would it be something along the lines of a DLC or more drug freedom?
What would they have to do for us to completely stop playing GTA?
It's not something they could do, but something that would make me stop is if people stop watching my stream when I play it. I mean, that's the only reason I play it anymore. So
turn every question into a plug. Good job.
Yeah. See, I'm a professional, but no, I'm serious. I mean, Bruff, would you not feel the same way in some respect?
Yeah, I don't think I would be playing it still now if it wasn't for to me, the best part about GTA is the things that you can do in it, not because of Rockstar, what they create, but because of what other people create. The tracks, the experiences that you do with other people, the just fun gameplay that you have with 30 people in a lobby, just having fun. It's not because of what... We could still be doing that with the base version of the game, you know. Maybe not to the same extent, but still, we could still be doing that. So I don't think anything that Rockstar would do DLC-wise or drip-feeding-wise would stop me from playing it on streams.
I wouldn't challenge him, though.
Well, yeah, let's not. Yeah. But if, you know, unless they did something ridiculous like took away racing or you know, something that they're not going to do, and I've started to want money at the expense of the things that we can actually do in the game don't have us the freedom that we already have had. But I probably wouldn't be playing it in my free time now if it wasn't for the streams and YouTube. I would have gone on to different games. I probably would have played Gears of War more, maybe, but then it seems like every single game that comes out I get disappointed by. It's like nothing has been able to... The really good games that I've played have been the quick games that I play on stream, the indie games, you know, things that you play them once and then you're done or something like that. No multiplayer overreaching experience has kept me enticed enough. It's I don't know. I'm a little bit lost with gaming at the minute, I think.
Yeah, they really ruined us for gaming, didn't they? Frankly, if it wasn't for Noto, I probably wouldn't be playing this game anymore.
Yeah,
and that's not being sappy or anything. It's just like,
yeah, we drove home that point.
If I was doing races with people that were just using the best cars at the time, I'd be like, all right, well, this is annoying as hell.
And the only thing you can play is stunt races.
Yeah, the only thing I think that, which they won't do again, well, you know, never say never, but is if they were just like, all right, now you got to pay $5 $1 a month, $5 a month, something ridiculous to play GTA Online. I'd be like, I'm good, man, I'm good. If they started charging for it.
Yeah, if you had a subscription service for GTA Online.
Yeah, I'd be like, nah.
Yeah, after all the shark cards, you can't. There's no way you can start charging for GTA Online monthly
if you
have microtransactions. They could.
That's why I said never say never.
A few years ago, we probably would have said there's no way you can have microtransactions in a $60 game, but look at it now; it's the standard. So, that's another thing. Destiny 2 has been come under fire recently for their microtransactions. All games are going the same way now. Microtransactions in big AAA games. You have there was something to do with a shader, I think, in Destiny. Like in the original game, if you got a shader in a loot box, and obviously it's all luck based. What you get these loot boxes, you open it up, you get this shader that paints your armor a different color. It paints the entire armor, and you can use it as many times as you want for any different armor. In Destiny 2, you can only use it once, and you can only use it on a piece of armor. So you can use it on legs, the chest, the helmet.
So you'll just end up with a bunch of mismatched armor. It looks like garbage.
Yeah, if you want a full set of armor, you need 7 or 8 different shaders from these loot boxes that are all randomly generated anyway. So you have to get lucky to get the same color of shader or whatever it is, and then you have to get enough of them to paint the same armor that you want. And you don't mind. It has to make sure that it's going to be the armor that you want to keep. And obviously, it's the incentive to do that is to keep buying the loot boxes to get what you want. Like, it's getting more and more insidious in games, and it's just it turns me off completely.
Yes,
it sucks because they got to this point with the basic model of release a game that works, just a full game, and now they feel the need to just milk it for everything that they can get out of all their customers' pockets.
Yeah, it's a shame. All AAA games are going like this, and
Yeah.
Feels bad.
I honestly, for over the last few years, I've enjoyed indie games and smaller, shorter games more. Like things like Limbo, Journey, all these kind of short games. I've enjoyed those a lot more than any of these AAA microtransaction filled stuff, because the microtransactions ruin it for me. I buy a game to play a game. Anyway.
Thanks for the question, Quilson.
Yeah, answering your question.
Good question, Wilson. Good question. Thank you. So we have someone else on deck for another call.
We sure do.
Let's pipe him right in.
Mr. K-Dog Honda.
Hello, caller. You're on the Choking Hazard podcast. Who's your question for, and what's your question?
First time caller, long time listener.
I love you. Thank you.
My question is for everybody in here. Now, with P-Cars and about releasing in 2 weeks, since there won't be a Choking Hazard podcast next week. With P-Cars coming out in 2 weeks, what are your guys' thoughts, and are you interested in buying the game?
I'm slightly interested, but I hadn't seen how many trucks are in the game, so I'm gonna have to give the vehicle list a good look over. See if you got your Ford F-350 2006, your 7.3. You're gonna have to get yourself a Ram 2500, maybe with a flatbed, some smokestacks in there, hopefully. But I'll just have to give the vehicle list a good look over. See if maybe it's got some old muscle cars like Mustang or a Camaro, and
Camaro.
It's just turned full on Alabama.
We'll just say how. No, serious answer. I'm mildly interested. I'll have to see what the handling is like and everything. I do have a wheel now, so I'll have to. I'll just have to see what other people's opinions of it are. People have pre-ordered the game, and that disgusts me on a personal level. So, if you've pre-ordered the game, you are a disservice to all gamers everywhere. Just putting that out there. Especially with what Project Cars 1 was like. So, yeah.
I played it at I-61, the Insomnia Gaming Festival, and I didn't get to play it on a wheel. I just played it on the controller.
Did you ever play on a wheel?
What? Why was the game even there?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. They were just set up with the controllers. I don't. And they put one of the cars was what was it? The LaFerrari, and it had 0 brakes. So
can confirm it was horrendous.
Yeah, there's no point in putting that car on a game like that, because you just turn people off immediately. And then there was a Formula Renault, which was a lot better. It felt like, interestingly, I felt like the handling of Gran Turismo Sport, which I also played, it felt nicer to drive that game than it did Project Cars 2, to be honest.
Wow, that's not good.
No.
That's not good if Gran Turismo... Not that Gran Turismo's bad by any means, but, Project Cars is supposed to be a more authentic experience.
Yeah.
Than Gran Turismo is. And if Gran Turismo feels better to you...
That was just based off one quick go on each single, but I have played both of them.
Gran Turismo, did you play that on a wheel?
Yeah, that was on a wheel.
See,
that might be the difference. I did enjoy the Gran Turismo setup a lot. And it's kind of piqued my interest back into maybe doing a few more wheel streams and proper racing games. But I kind of want to just go through a lot of different ones. Project Cars 2, Assetto Corsa, maybe try out iRacing, look into Gran Turismo Sport, and then whichever one I like the best, just focus on that one, get behind it, focus on that one, because it's too much to keep going from different racing games. So I'm going to pit them all together, pit them all against each other, probably try out Project Cars 2, but I'll try out all the others as well, and just see what they're like.
I think all of them is going to have their ups and downs, for sure.
Yeah. F1 2017 I don't have no... Yeah. I might do reviews on the channel for them. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
I do. F1 2017 I didn't get. I don't know whether to get it, but we'll see. It's always a bit too arcadey for me, F1 2017. It's F1 games, but what about you, Addy T? You getting Project Cars?
Nah. They released Project Cars 1 on Games with Gold, and I was just like, not feeling this.
Nah.
You start out your career in a go-kart, and I'm like, not cool. I'm good.
Yeah.
Well, it's a cool idea. I just wish there was more.
Yeah, sure it is.
I just wish there was more. Shut up, RDT. Like, there needs to be more car owning and personalization and team management in racing games. Like, you've got to do something other than just driving, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, NASCAR
I think that's what
Thunder
Forza
2004.
Motorsport's always done well.
Yeah, well, like, for instance, like, you had your own team, your own crew, your own stats for your own crew, like, all kinds of different things you could do.
What was this?
A race, NASCAR Thunder 2000.
Okay.
It's just, like, there's so many things from old racing games that need to come back.
Yeah.
And a lot of that money management, advertisement management, driver management, all that stuff like that needs to come back.
Speaking of old racing games, Tucker Race Driver 3, which I think I've mentioned before, that was one that I played a lot on the PS2. It was one of the first games I played online, and that had a lot of features even back then, and this is PS2, that I still wish we had in racing games these days. And you know, I totally agree with that. Racing games back a few years ago with Gran Turismo and things, they were amazing because of the visuals of the games, and you were like, wow, this is so good. But it's come to the point now where the visuals are all pretty much the same. People get a great racing experience and a good driving experience from any of these games. None of them are exactly how it is in real life, but they're all close enough that you can do it in a game. You need something extra. You need to have a bit of more of a gameplay with that. Supposedly F1 2017 has a bit more of that, like R&D management, driver management, stuff like that. But it needs to have more from a multiplayer perspective. You know, the like you said, the team management and team building and stats and there's just so much more for them.
Well, something else that needs to come back. Going back to NASCAR Thunder 2004. I don't know if you have played that game or seen it, but every driver in the game, there was a rivalry system to the game. So if you share draft and you let people pass and you race cleanly with people, they'll like you and the AI will be more inclined to do stuff like that with you in the future. If you knock people off and slam them into a wall and don't share your draft, they'll be like enemies with you and not help you and take you out and all kinds of stuff. Like, it's just so interesting. Stuff like that needs to come back.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, I mean, we got to stop thinking that you can just put a car on a track with other cars, race, and that's all a racing game needs to be.
Yeah, that's why I just haven't gotten into the variety that GTA offers with the kind of stuff that you can do in addition to the racing is why it keeps me entertained. The proper racing games, there's not enough there to keep me entertained for a prolonged period of time anymore, because I've done it all. I've done all the racing. I've completed 100% Gran Turismo 4, 5, 6, whatever. And I didn't do 6, but you know, all the Forza games, all the Gran Turismo games, I'm sick of it now. If I want to race, I want to race in real life, and if I want a racing game, I want some extra stuff to keep me entertained alongside just the racing. So someone mentioned NFS Payback, Need for Speed. It is full arcade. That is absolutely true.
Oh my goodness,
it is awful.
That trailer for Need for Speed.
Oh my goodness.
Did you end up playing that?
I did. It was horrible. I was so.
I actually didn't mind it.
Oh god.
I thought, in terms of Need for Speed games, to me anyway, they've toned back the arcadiness just a little bit, it wasn't too bad. It was quite an exciting game to play. The handling wasn't.
It was closer to Fast and Furious than it was
The
racing.
sound in the last few.
The sound was good.
Few Need for Speed games have been absolutely fantastic.
But no.
I might give it a look once it comes down in price.
No.
I wouldn't get it out the gates. The story looks sort of interesting.
Terrible.
All right. Differing opinions. That's fine.
Yeah, I think that wraps up that question that completely spiraled into a rant.
Yeah. These questions are spiraling into something different completely.
All right, let's take one more caller. We have one more caller on the line.
We certainly do. The last caller is C. Balbuena.
Hello, caller. You're on the Choking Hazard podcast. Who's your question for, and what is your question?
Okay, I was gonna say about like the new Transformer races. Well, it was a bug that I heard it, and then when official release, how about like making like we said it, but you said it about like the I should say like multi-class racing, like for example, the Moonbeam in advanced race. That might be great. Or what about the Blizzard Compound in a compact race? Well, don't trigger, please. Do not. And I want to hear like opinions about that. Like for example, like other classes like mixed classes between supers and sports, like exotic style of cars, like
yeah,
sounds great.
It does. Sounds fantastic. The whole idea with Transformer races, hopefully, is that Rockstar are going to be giving us a base that, similar to how stunt races were appealing to the masses, but gave the racing community something to use to create the races. Transformer races are going to appeal to the masses with a weird new style of race.
Wow, I just switched into a phantom in a tunnel. Whoa!
Yeah.
And then we can use it
it's also giving the racing community what we've wanted. It's Rockstar's version of putting in the ability to have multi-class races. So, MB Hammer, can you mute yourself when you're typing?
It's for my benefit, to be fair.
I think it's going to be great when we get this, because there will be so many things we can do in an organized crew-like race event situation. That we can have vans with the Moonbeam. That's going to be great. We can have a van race with the Moonbeam custom, but the Rumpo custom won't be allowed because of the wiggle boosting. So, but still, it gives us a lot of, and I said this in the video, it gives us a lot of options, and that's what we want in this game. We want the ability to have a lot of options to do what we want to do, and the more that they give us the chance to do what we want to do, the better. So I'm all for Transformer races, as long as it allows us to do proper multi-class races.
Yeah, you telling me that it puts you in your own version of the vehicle just was to me. So
that's fantastic.
That's gonna be pretty sweet.
Yeah, all we have to do is load up a race in an event, and we can do a proper event with 3 cars in a multi-class race that are in completely different classes. We can do a race with 10 different cars that are all on the same pace, that are all from different classes. It opens up. Open class multi-class racing is something that we've wanted for a long time.
It's going to be so janky to do, though, with like all these secondary checkpoints.
That's true. But
it's going to be janky as hell. But
it'll get the job done. And an interesting thing was that you can have the lawnmower in pit lanes, so you could put the Transformer checkpoint at the start of a pit lane. Then you drive the lawnmower through it, or the air tug, or something like that, and the slow speed, like you would in a normal pit lane. And then you get to the final Transformer checkpoint and you're back in your regular car. So
I like that for the Lamau factor. Like, that's just hilarious. Yeah. I can just see me coming through there, spinning around, and then I'm in lawnmower going backwards at like 50. It'd be great.
We could finally have a test between, I don't know whether, because you can have different vehicles, obviously, like service vehicles and stuff like that. I don't know whether the Dozer is going to be available. Obviously, the Dozer's the slowest vehicle in the game. But if you can't, you can at least have the lawnmower. And we can put the Vigilante, whether that's available, or the Wagner, up against the Dozer or the lawnmower around cutting corridors and see how many laps it can do in the time it takes the one to do one lap. It'll be like 8 or 9 or 10 laps. Like, just
what the people really need to see.
Yeah, fun stuff like that. I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to it. All right. So, anything else?
I believe we have one more.
Thank you, Seaball Bueno, for the question.
Yeah, thank you for your question, Seaball. Appreciate it.
We have one last straggler. It's Trumpet Master with a last-minute question.
Hello, caller. You're in the Choking Hazard podcast. You're a little late to the call-in line. Who's your question for, and what's your question?
Yes, I was listening to your podcast, and I was noticing on one of the questions I noticed that you were saying what would happen to you guys for GTA. And what I was asking is, what would happen if you guys just quit GTA? Would you be playing? And if you can't think of what you would be playing, what would be your ideal game to be playing yourself?
We've had this question before, but it was worded slightly differly, I think. Like, it was more like, what would you do if GTA...
If GTA just disappears. Yeah, but it's like...
We're playing Pilsner. That's what I would be playing.
Yeah.
24/7 pills.
Yeah, hooked on that game.
Fun game.
Oh my god. That was
Yeah,
one of the
now
best
you've, of
moments
course
in
you've tried it
podcast.
out since I pointed it out
I
to you.
didn't, but
I would I don't know. I would have to find some multiplayer game that got my attention. I don't know whether I would go into the racing games. I don't know what I would do. Maybe I would do more racing games. I would pick up F1 2017 and do races on that. Maybe try some, instead take away GTA and replace it with F1 2017 as a base racing game that people are going to watch, and then a higher quality simulator racing game like Gran Turismo or Project Cars or something like that.
Or Euro Truck Simulator.
A Euro Truck Simulator, which was fun when we did it. But I also like the idea of Star Citizen, but I don't know how much into it I would be, because I think it's still unfinished and way from being finished. But I like Star Citizen. I badly want to get into Star Citizen when it releases, but whether it will ever release and be finished, I don't know.
Yeah.
And whether I'll have the time to get into it as I want to. But
I mean, they've had, I don't know, they've been making progress from what I've seen. I mean, every week they put out a dev blog or something, and oh, look at all this new stuff we did, and the game is nowhere near where it needs to be yet. So
yeah, I would do more racing games.
Be like 5 years.
I would do more racing games if I was not playing GTA, I think.
Yeah,
what about you guys?
I'm in the same boat.
I'd probably go back to first-person shooters.
Yeah,
not bad.
That's what I used to play back in the day when my real life friends, nerds with real lives.
So you're a filthy casual.
Oh yeah, I think we've already gone over this.
Oh yeah, okay.
Also, We Happy Few. I think the entire game's coming out soon, so that's a good one. Check that one out.
That's not a main game though. You can't make that a main game.
You will be able to, because it's amazing.
Okay. The Crew too? Yeah, that's gonna be a joke. A funny joke.
Yeah.
Good one.
What about you, Nas? Would you be the same racing games?
Yeah, I'd just have to go to racing games. I'd have to salvage what little audience I'd have left after GTA. So it's all about my personal game. I don't play video games for fun anymore. So.
Already? Really?
Yeah,
wow.
It's just all selling out. That's all I do. I don't know. I'd like to get back into first-person shooters like RDT, but there's no good ones out right now.
World War II is coming out. I'm probably not going to buy it, but still.
Call of Duty in 2017? You serious?
Oh my god.
Who plays Call of Duty?
That meme gets me so triggered. I hate it. I hate it so much. You can say anything. You can be like, oh, eating a salad in 2017? What is this? 1872 France? What?
Far Cry 5 might be fun, but that's a single player thing. That's not something I'll play that for 20 hours then be done.
I think I'm looking forward to Anthem from BioWare.
What the hell is that?
This is a new game that they showcased at E3 with the big exosuits and things.
You're looking forward to that?
I'm not looking forward to it yet, but I'm hoping that it's going to be something like a massively multiplayer online experience in third person, because I don't like first person games, and space related, sci-fi related stuff like that. Kind of like people were saying it's what Destiny should have been when it was released, and I like the idea of Destiny, but I don't like first person games.
Dude, I was so turned off by that artificial teammate bull trailer that they had. That was
that never.
Yeah,
going through the portal. I got your back, bro.
Stuff like that. I hate.
He's coming to my right flank, dude. Watch out.
Yeah, it's never gonna happen ever.
But it's
stranger,
being built.
I'm looting. I'm gonna loot you. I'm gonna kill you right now. Okay. Oh, all right. Come on, man. It was in the trailer.
I slept with your mom. That's how the games really go.
Yeah,
that's how that game's gonna go.
But it's being built by the proper BioWare team, so I'm hoping that it's going to be something good. But I just can't get into proper game. I can't get into games anymore.
The last thing they did was
games are getting worse for me. I don't know. Not interested.
Not interested in games.
Maybe we're growing up.
See, you're in the same boat as me, bruh. You just do it for the views now. You don't play video games for fun.
No, the thing is, I want to be interested in games. I want to go back to the glory days of playing Gears of War every night and having Mass Effect to play through and getting addicted to it and stuff like that. I want to be interested, but the games just aren't living up to what I feel like they were enough to keep me interested. So I don't know. Anyway, good question, Trumpet Master.
Good question.
That's it for the questions, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's
wrap
it up.
Box today. So yeah, let's wrap this thing up.
Let's wrap up this rant fest. Let's not get into it anymore.
Ooh,
yeah, we ranted a lot today.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, if anyone wants to submit their jokes of the week or jokes of the fortnight, as it's going to be now, feel free to do that. Yeah, the podcast is going to move to every 2 weeks and longer podcasts. Don't.
I thought I would get over it in the hour that I had. My God. All right, I promise again.
RDT, I love you.
But yeah, we're the podcast isn't going anywhere anytime soon. We're still.
I thought you were like saying that it wasn't growing as.
Right.
as
Okay.
Content. It's not going anywhere.
It's not. It's not leaving.
Okay.
Yes, it's not leaving in that it's not leaving for higher planes or anything. We're staying right where we are. We're not.
Yeah, it will eventually devolve into this one-off thing that we do once a year on a special occasion, but it's not going away.
Christmas podcast.
Yeah, Christmas podcast. We'll do it in the snow.
Have you guys made any more plans to come to TwitchCon yet? Have you got your hotels booked and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Hold on, let me check my PayPal. Oh no, there isn't a transaction from Adam Bruff for $5,000. So no, I haven't. I haven't booked my hotel, Bruff.
Damn it. Yeah. I can only keep on at them once every 2 weeks now. Alright guys, that'll be it. Do you want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Goodbye.
See you later everyone. Thanks for watching.